Hey guys, it's Carrie here. I'm back on another video. This time I'll be doing a tutorial, a skin tutorial. But more specifically, I wanted to do a tutorial on how to color darker skin tones, like how I did right here. Oh, well, similar to how I did right here. Since for the Draw in My Style challenge, I've seen certain artists that when they redraw a character, they just completely whitewash them, and their defense is that they don't know how to color darker skin character, and that discourages me a little bit, and I get a little bit offended, and it's like they don't try, but it's fine. I myself, when I started out as an artist like anyone, I didn't know how to color general skin. I didn't know how to pick the right colors for darker skin, and I hope that through this video you guys learn how to color pick a lot better, so you guys don't just use the default colors that come in like this. I'll be showing you guys, I'll be teaching you guys a little bit that I know of color theory and how to color pick and pick really good colors that complement and work with each other, instead of just having like a dark tone drawing, like your coloring will come to life. So that's why I decided to do a skin tutorial and a darker skin tutorial, because I want to show people that, yeah. And also shading in this is a lot different, for me at least, than shading on my Cintiq, because the brushes are different. So we're going to be shading with the pastel brushes right here, and those are the ones that I have experimented that I like a lot better. Before, when I first started shading on this app, I did not know how to use any tools, so I went the safe way and just shaded with the airbrush tool. And guys, don't do that. It's gonna make your drawing kind of flat, not flat, but it's gonna make it look kind of like cheap. Like, just airbrush everything. Don't just airbrush everything. With skin, there needs to be texture and stuff like that. So I don't want this video to be too long like the last one. I don't know if you guys like the longer ones. I feel like I could do more depth when it's a little bit longer. But before we start this, let me just fix the hair, because it's making the drawing look very wonky. So I'm going to do that all in time lapse. And so I just wanted to fix that little top part. It was making the drawing look weird. So we're to start off with her skin tone, we're gonna go around the color wheel, and we're gonna go near the oranges, more of the red tone, because usually darker skin tones have more of a red undertone, reddish undertone. So that's where we're gonna be picking the color around, like right here. So that's going to be our base color, and we're going to use the brush tool, make it a little bit bigger for our base foundation. And make sure you guys make a layer right underneath the sketch layer, so that way you guys can see. And also I'm going to go back over and make the line art a little bit darker, so I could see her facial features, because I made it almost the same color as the skin tone. So the bad thing about using the brush tool to lay down the color is that it's kind of fuzzy at the end, so that means we have to go back and clean that up. But don't worry guys, I'll be doing that all in time lapse, so this video won't be as long. Alright, we're gonna go in and just erase that. Let me go, just use the default eraser, make it a little bit smaller, and then first let me make the sketch layer a little bit darker. So let me just go like this. I think that's a good color. And then to change the color of a layer in Autodesk Sketchbook, you kind of just lock the transparency. After that, when you color over it, it shows that color. So that's how you do it. And we're going to do the same with the chin layer. I think that's the right one, because the other one was the one well, I messed up that. And so that's how you guys do it. Giving her face definition. Now let me go back and clean this up. Alright guys, now that's done, let's just make a new layer. And the brush we're going to be using is this pastel brush. This, no, it's called Wispy. All of them are super good, but my favorite one is Wispy. It's really good for building up colors. So we're gonna go back and select. And the bad thing about this app is that it doesn't let you clip layers. So clipping layers means that like you won't go outside your lines, but we will since there's no clipping mask on here. So the first thing that we do is we push this color down on the color wheel, and then we go a little bit darker right here. And that's how you color with more life instead of just, if we just were at the same place that we were and just went straight down, it wouldn't look as good. So let's start by building our first color in the skin tone. So we're going to be laying down the shadows around the hairline, around the eyes, nose, mouth, and of course the chin. So for the first shade of layer, it's good to go as big as you can on the brush stroke. And the way I shade in my nose, I kind of just make a shape like this for a more kind of like realistic Disney nose. And we're gonna go over the eyes, the eye area, and we're gonna be going and doing the shadows underneath the chin and a little bit under the eyes. Actually, for the eyes, let's undo that. Okay, let's make our brush stroke a little bit smaller because we don't want her to look like she has bags. We want it to look like the underneath of an eye, because this is the semi-realistic style. Okay, be careful with your brush strokes. So that way this little like gap becomes her waterline. And do what you guys need to, move your drawing around, as I mentioned in the first tutorial, to get comfortable with it. So we're gonna bring it down, and then we'll make our brush a little bit bigger again to do the shadow from the nose. Actually, the first thing that you guys should do is define a light source, but since she's looking straight at us, I think I'm just gonna do a light source like this, like if that makes sense. Like the sun is looking directly at her, so maybe no, because if I do this line, that means like the sun is coming from this way, the light source. So let's not do that. So let's just undo that as well. Or you could just click the transparency, as I mentioned, and just erase that. So she's looking straight at us. There's not gonna be too much shadows, like harsh shadows. And then I'm gonna be applying on the mouth as well as sort of a base, and around the hair. And guys, don't forget about the ears. I always do forget to shade the ears, which is weird. You shouldn't be doing that. And then we'll be adding this line to define kind of, I forget what that part is called, underneath the neck, where it kind of, there's a muscle there. I know there's a muscle there, I just don't know the name. So we're gonna continue it. So we're gonna be building up more. It's good to go back and add a few more, especially on the first shading layer, because we're going to be doing more and building this up and adding to it as we color this drawing. So yeah, I'm hoping that's making sense so far. But yeah. And we're gonna go a little bit darker again now. And we move this into the wheel. and then go a little bit darker. Sometimes you don't have to move this when you move that, but I do because I want it to be a little darker. It depends on what you want to do, honestly. And then I'm going to be making this a little bit smaller. Da, da, da. And then going and defining the nose a bit more. To add more shadows and definition. And as you guys could start seeing, by coloring this way and moving the wheel this way instead of just like that way, no matter how the wheel looks like, guys, always move the bigger option and then move the inner option, if that makes sense. Oh man, I need to know my terminologies to better explain with you guys, but this is specifically a tutorial for Autodesk Sketchbook and mobile using any Samsung Note device. So that's kind of the best way I can explain it. For this program, we're going back in, defining our lines. One thing that I like to do early on is add the blush. So what we're going to do is go back in the color wheel. We're going to make the brush size a little bit bigger. Go to our reds again, and then this time we're going to go a little bit up to the side, not too high for a darker skin tone, so that way it doesn't look so that way it kind of blends a lot better. It's like more of the natural blush compared to the I don't know how to explain it. So actually, undo. For blush, I do like to apply this with the airbrush tool because it just looks a lot better with the airbrush tool compared to that other tool. So we're going to be using the soft airbrush, making this smaller, and then just getting her outer cheeks, a little bit of her nose, some more of her cheeks, and some out, and then like kind of like the center of her, like right here. Does that make sense? So like the corner. Sorry guys, my camera keeps turning off, but we're gonna go back to the pastel brush and keep doing build-ups. My whole style of painting, of coloring, is more of the painting style, so it just requires a lot of build-ups, so like layers of color, if that makes sense. And so we're gonna keep building up colors as we color this drawing. When we add blush, it's more of an orange red, because I think that's what stands out a lot more on darker skin tone, instead of just like if you just use up like straight pink, or like this. No, this pink could work, but like this pink or lighter wouldn't work as good. And now in this process, that's where I kind of usually just jump around. Where now let's go pick back the base color again, but we're gonna go all the way straight down more towards the purples, as to contrast it and bring it to life a little bit more. So let's make our brush size a little bit bigger. As you can see, it's gonna work very well with the red, orange, and darker brown that I have in here. It's gonna make it build up a little bit more. In some parts it is a little bit lighter, so we'll kind of highlight it a little bit. Let me zoom out. So yeah, but you can always turn on and off the layer to see what we've done so far. See, we added some depth to her. And just kind of putting the purple. Oh no, it's not back to purple again. Oh, I hate when it does that. Okay, but that's good. So to get back to that color range, we're just gonna swirl all the way down to purple. This purple, more pink purple. Usually some people leave the purple towards the last step, as if you use a lighter purple, it's more like it's mainly used as reflective light when you're coloring, but I like to do it between the process. It makes the colors, gives it an interesting look. Now we're gonna go a little bit darker purple, so that way I could shade in the nose, because I do want that area to be a little bit darker, and I keep building shadows in and out, as you guys can see. Again, kind of follow the shape of the face. I'm gonna put a tiny bit into the middle section of the mouth. And do it like that. So here, guys, I'm hoping that makes sense. And then now we're gonna keep going around the circle wheel, and we're gonna get into the blue category. Okay, let's pick the base color again and then go into the blue category, so that way it's kind of like the same range. First we're gonna do this darker blue, and doing this and putting different hues. Yeah, I think the right term is hues versus what's the other scale? Well, for now I'm gonna say hues. Really makes your drawing kind of stand out, instead of it just being like, oh, just like, well, with monochromatic, it stands out a lot better. That's the word, monochromatic. That's right, when you just stay like this and going up and down right here, it just makes it look dull and monochromatic. But when you go around the whole circle, it brings your drawing to life. There you go. Yes, it kind of might look weird right now. It kind of looks like maybe she has a... no, I don't think it looks that bad. So just bring in more hues, guys. This is how to make your drawing stand out a little bit more. And that's something that I learned recently after I learned the color theory. I know I'm kind of touching a little bit on this in this video, but you guys, I'll link some resources down below to learn color theory, because color theory is in everything, and I really think it's worth learning, and I'll make your art stand out so much better. Well, yeah, as you guys can see, I added the blue on the bottom of the lip. And you guys could see, my strokes. I'm not blending it too much. The key to coloring skin is to not blend in your stroke as much. It's kind of good to have a rough texture to it. Like, I do blend some parts at the end, but I don't always. Okay, so now we got this blue. Let's go back into the purple. This kind of like purple-ish. And let's make our brush a little bit bigger. And let's start filling in the midtones. Because I usually do... No, I don't. Because it's usually best to put in your darkest color first and then the midtone and then that, but you don't have to. This is the way that I usually color my skin. And I've been trying to implement more things and trying to go all around the color wheel and add a bunch of different hues first, so that way the rest of the drawing I could start color picking from the skin and then bringing colors that I like and more in. So we're gonna be adding this purple-ish color around like the cheeks area. We're probably gonna be going over the blush again towards the end. But yeah, that's usually what I do. And then especially around the mouth as well. But yeah, guys, we're almost done with this. This is gonna be a little bit of a shorter one. Shorter than my last tutorial, not my shortest video, obviously. And also, guys, don't forget the neck and the other area. We have been focusing so much on putting those colors on the face that I kind of forgot to give the rest of the body, well, not the body, well, the rest of this area some love. So guys, don't forget to do that as well. And then another thing that we're gonna do to bring it a bit more light, because now it has more cool colors into the drawing. We're gonna go back to the color wheel and we're gonna add in some, well first let's pick the base color again, and then we're gonna be adding some lighter oranges. And for this one, just bright but not too bright to give it some contrast, because the complementary color of blue is orange and the complementary color of purple is like yellow, so we're gonna have a little bit of those, a little bit, not too high. As you can see, I'm getting kind of like this shade. Just bring it up a little bit from the base, so that way. And we're just gonna be adding that towards the sides, the middle of the nose. Just a little bit, guys, to make a tiny bit of difference. I know now it's going to be going over the blush, but we will bring that blush back. And now we're gonna be doing the same thing with the yellow. Say where you are right here, and just go slightly, ever so slightly over. Like, I know it kind of look like a dirty-ish, but you guys can't even see. Wait, let me zoom out. This yellow, it's kind of like a lime greenish, a little bit darker than this pen color. So that's what we'll do. And we're gonna be putting, since that's the lightest color that we use, we're gonna be putting that more into the highlight of colors. So we're gonna be making the size a little bit smaller, so it's not taking up most of the part. So we're gonna be putting it around the fold of the eyes, because these are the part that usually appears a little bit brighter. Be adding a little bit to the lips. Like, I'm kind of gonna blend those strokes because they look too random, because you want your lines to be a little bit more intentional. Okay, there we go. That's what I meant to do. I don't know if you guys could see. And then we're gonna be adding the yellow right here for some other reflective light. It looks really good against the purplish color that I had earlier. I'm probably gonna blend the lips, probably not all these different strokes, because I think it makes it look interesting. And then we're gonna be adding a little bit line right here to the neck. And now that we've done that, let's go back again to our red. It's gonna be the same red, probably. Ooh. This one's more magenta. And then for this one, we're gonna be using the airbrush tool to get larger area, and we want the blush to be more soft. So we'll be going in the cheeks and then adding those colors again. And then we're gonna be going back and then getting more true, almost burgundy red now. Oh. And then adding to the cheeks. And now let's go back to our pastel brush. Make it a little bit smaller. And we're going to be defining. Okay, we need a little bit more bold red, slightly. And as you can see, it looks like her skin is like a colorful palette, and it's a little bit... Okay, my camera keeps cutting off again. You see her skin looks more like a palette and it's more alive. So So we're just gonna be shading a little bit with this red. But the colors still communicate cohesively together. And right in the middle of this, that's when I usually do the eyes a little bit. So we're gonna take a break and just fill in the eyes. So let's fill it in with the brush tool. I know this is a skin coloring tutorial, but the eyes, we're not gonna be doing anything fancy. We're just gonna be filling it in. The thing about this app is sometimes I accidentally click. I'm trying to adjust the size. Okay, there we go. I usually do the eyes so that way it helps me see certain details a lot better. So we're going to be filling in the white of the eye. And then after that we're just going to be filling the base color. Erasing some parts to keep that shape. Okay, now let's add the base of the eye. The base color, let's just make it this green. I'm not sure, I might change it. No, it's just different. Give me her bright teal blue eyes. And now, instead of just leaving our eyes like that, let's shade it up a little bit. But first, let me erase some parts. Alright, now let's just shade in the iris a little bit. So let's just use a darker gray. Usually, to shade in the iris, I use like a darker purple instead of gray, but well, I'm gonna use the harder airbrush tool. Because no one has like super like their eyes white part isn't always super straight white. Also add some depth into it. Yeah, then let's just go a little bit darker now. You know, let me just do the little purple shading. Because it's a little bit different. Oh, sorry about the siren, if you guys can hear that in the audio. I don't know what's going on outside. Alright, we're getting close to being done. But yeah, I'll give her that color iris because I don't know, it makes it different and she stands out. So let's go back to the skin coloring and add in some darker shadows. So let's color pick again to the base color. Let's make sure we're back at the right brush. Wispy. And now let's give her some darker shading with purple. Because now all the color is there, now let's give her face some definition. Okay, what size is the brush? Okay, there we go. Alright, now let's define some of her features a little bit. So that, and it's just gonna be a tiny bit since the light source is coming directly in front of her. Like, there's not too much shadows. since we painted over the red, we're gonna be going back again and putting some red. Oh, I guess this one's a little bit too light. It's not gonna blend as well. Oh, also a way for me to blend, besides just blurring color on top, is to use the soft blender. It's pretty good. Oops. Oh no. I think I changed the brush setting. I think you changed the brush setting. A way to edit it is settings, reset. Okay, there we go. Okay, now it's blending. But now I'm just gonna do that and it'll ruin my whole palette. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that red was a little bit too light and I applied it with a stronger brush. So let's just apply with the airbrush tool. That's how you apply like a really bright color, but you don't want it to be as strong. So see? Now applying with this tool is making it a lot better. It looks a little bit more subtle and look like I have control over it. And so let me go back. Oh man. Let me go back with the SP tool. That's one part where I don't mind it being a little bit brighter. Is in the lips. Hey guys, I think we're pretty much done here. Again, with the style like this, you can always keep building up colors. Like you could spend hours doing this and get it more refined on how you want. So let me just do one more where I get a mid-tone color. But I like this. Another thing I like to do is extend it. Because usually when people smile, like this end line ends up becoming kind of soft like this. Because it ends like this line, doing that kind of accentuates the cheeks. After this, we're gonna be adding some highlights. There we go. Since this is a mid-tone color, I'm using it to find some shadings a little bit more. Okay, alright guys. A good way to tell is by turning this on and off and seeing how much it changes. Again, I feel like you could use more blush. This will be right here. And then just building up this way. Because everything always goes back and connects into the nose. So yeah guys. And I think I'm gonna give her some freckles. Because why not? And for freckles, we're gonna make a new layer. And we're gonna go back to the pastel brush. We're gonna be doing super grainy. And it doesn't really matter what color, but usually a little bit lighter. Maybe not orange base, more pink. See, doesn't really matter too much what color you pick, only a little bit, because we're going to be changing the layer mode. So wait, let me clear the layer. I did that wrong. Okay, flow 100%. Let's make it a little bit darker. And then now let's click on the layer mode, soft glow. And that's kind of how you do freckles, guys. And then, but to make them stand out a little bit more is to make another layer but have it on normal, so that way you have some freckles that are a little bit darker. So there's like kind of variety, but not the same color, maybe a little bit darker, close to black. That's kind of how you do it. But then we're just gonna lower the opacity of this layer so it doesn't overshadow our shading. And then we're gonna go back in and make our shading a little bit stronger. Back with wispy. Let's shade with this purple. No, let's shade with more darker red. Okay, this color. You guys see darker red, and also you guys can see the color right here. So that way you could still see. Alright guys, we're almost done. Just added the freckles. After that we're gonna add, after I do this one kind of last sets of shade, we're gonna be adding highlights. And I don't know if you guys can see it better on the camera, but the colors look a lot better than on the screen, I hope. Well, to me, in real life, it looks a lot better, so at the end, I'll put a screen cap of the final drawing. So, yeah. Again, I'm gonna add in some more blush. To the airbrush tool. Where is it? Okay, alright, we're done. So now let's do the highlights. Make a new layer, change it to soft glow. And let's go back to the wispy. Make the size, oh man, here we go. Make the size kind of tiny, and then pick the base color, and go a little bit lighter to this color. Now let's start adding highlights. This color might be a little bit too bright, but let's see. Okay, we're at the shine. I'm gonna add the smaller shines first, like near around the nose. Wait, I don't know if you should be adding with this brush. Let's see, because I don't usually do highlights with this brush. It's a little bit too dark, too prominent. Because the nope, we're clear. We're gonna be adding the highlights with the hard airbrush. It's a bit softer than the last two that we use. Okay, there we go. See, it looks, so that way it looks kind of like fading. So, nope. Clear. Let's make the size a lot smaller and make the color a little bit, tiny bit darker. This is not the main shadow, it's like one of the smaller shadows, that's why. And then you put shadows around on top of the tear duct, around the mouth. a tiny bit, even in the mouth. But these are not the main shadows, so that's why they're not as bright, and especially in the tear duct area. So, okay, the tear duct and even the crease as well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's called the crease. Oh, come on. So yeah, it's very subtle. It's subtle. I forgot to add one at the bottom. And then I'm going to be adding one to the side of the face for reflective light. Even... I hate when it does that. See, it color picked on its own. Okay, okay, it didn't. So let's rotate it this way. Add the same reflective light right here, kind of fading. And of course, add it right here. And then add it kind of right here. Bring the size a bit up, a little up more. And for the cheeks, even though there's like freckles, I usually kind of do like one kind of like dot like this on both sides. And now we're gonna kind of blend this a little bit more. So we're gonna use the blender to blend and kind of diffuse the highlight on the nose. I think it's kind of like similar to adding highlights on your own face with makeup. Yeah, and we've done the highlights, and after doing the highlights, then go back to the... Wait, I could just click last brush. Last brush. Oh, I guess that wasn't the last brush that I used. So... really letting it make... And a few more highlights. With this. Yeah, it's shiny, I know. But you can add less or you can add more if you want, but I feel like that's usually what I do. Makes the drawing stand out, and then I usually go back one last time to the shading and add a little bit of the shading to the nose. Because I knew I added too much highlight, so now the nose is just like super not defined. So let's go back to wispy, make it a little bit bigger. I think this is a good color. Maybe a tad bit darker. And then define the nose a little bit more. So yeah, with skin, I could be shading skin for hours because there's just little things that you do that adds and builds it up. So you guys, so before finish this tutorial, let me quickly time lapse and add a base color to the hair so that way she's just not a floating skin. And also instead of going back and erasing this and going through layers, it's a lot easier for me to hide that by just coloring the hair. So give me one quick second. Okay, alright guys, that was just a quick time lapse of me filling in my hair. So, and yeah, one last thing. Let me just fix this bottom part. It just looks really bad to me. Alright guys, that is it. That's how you color a darker skin character on Autodesk Sketchbook. And that's my method. And again, you can always go back and add in some more color dodge. Color dodge, it's a term that Rostra uses. Basically, like with the soft glow, like how I did with the freckles, you could do that, but do a different color and add in more reflective light and make it more shiny and glossy. And so yeah guys, that's my tutorial on how to get skin and the brush that I use. I showed you guys right there. I use the pastel, and I hope you guys try the other pastels too. They have different textures, but my favorite one is wispy. As you can see, it has a hard edge, but it's still kind of soft, and I switch back and forth between the airbrushed and that. And if you want to blend, use the super soft blender right here, and if it's not working, make sure you just reset the brush setting. But yeah guys, that was my tutorial. Let me know let you guys know if you guys want an eye tutorial or hair. For hair, I'm not as good coloring on my phone. I'm much better using Photoshop on my Cintiq. For eyes, I don't do anything too different. Wait, actually, let me just add the eye shine, because I don't think I want to shade in the eyes. I like how the way it is. I might, you know, there's a lot of things you could do to it, I guess. But yeah guys, that was my tutorial. I don't want this to make this too long. Also, my camera is gonna die, and I hope you guys learned something from this, and especially with the color picking. And guys, don't just stick on the ones given to you. Like, imagine if I colored this whole drawing out of this palette. It would have looked really dull and not as lively. And make sure you add in your shadows where you need to, your highlights when you need to, and follow the shape of the face and the sketch that you have. And yeah, that's it guys. I hope to catch you guys in my next video, and see you next time. Bye.